Okay, today on Ask the Oracle, our wonderful topic is the power of the mind, hypnotherapy and transformation with my dear friend, Sheila Henley. On this episode of Ask the Oracle, we welcome Sheila, clinical hypnotherapist and NLP coach, who has helped countless individuals break limiting patterns and step into transformation. From her small town roots in Ungarie, I think that's how you say it, to guiding clients across Australia, Sheila shares how hypnotherapy shifts mindsets, fosters lasting behavioural change, and empowers people to reclaim their personal power. Discovering her inspiring journey of becoming a hypnotherapist at 50, the wisdom behind her beautiful book, Bloom Where You Are Planted, and a simple practice that you can start today to shift your mindset and energy. I'm so excited to dive deep. How are you, Sheila? How are you, lovely?
Hello, Suzy. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Very, very good. I'm so excited because, as you know, I've had a session with you and I know how life-changing it can be. And I'm also an NLP practitioner, so I understand NLP and I absolutely love hypnotherapy, and I love the way you do things. So soft and nurturing and compassionate. So I'm really looking forward to diving deep in these questions today. Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much, Suzy. That's lovely. And I'm honoured and grateful to be here. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about hypnotherapy. How would you describe how hypno works to someone unfamiliar with it? How does it differ from, like, other hypnosis, or, like stage hypnosis, where people go and see, a stage performance of it? What's the difference?
Okay, yes. So there is a difference. So basically, I say to my clients, don't expect to feel hypnotized. Whatever their idea is of it, most don't know if they haven't been hypnotized before. So I say, you're awake. I want you to be awake. I want you to be alert. So I relax and guide you into hypnosis, which is where we bypass. So we've got our conscious mind and our subconscious part of the mind. And in between, we have what we call a critical faculty, where that's where we judge, distort, generalize information going in. Under hypnosis, in a relaxed state, hypnosis is another word for relaxation, that is critical faculties bypassed and the information is just going in. So under this relaxed state, our mind is more suggestible, and it's like we need a new software program for our computer. And so that's what we're doing. We're bypassing all that conscious thinking of usually that conflicts with our subconscious mind, which is where all our habits are stored, like a filing cabinet. So we're getting into that filing cabinet, the subconscious mind that really runs you as a person. So hypnosis, I say, but still, even though we've bypassed the critical faculty, you still have your ethics and values. So if I suggested something that under hypnosis that you wouldn't resonate with you or you didn't want to do, you would either reject it or not hear it, because, like I said, you still have your ethics and values. So in this state of hypnosis, generally what I do is, sit you down in the chair. We've probably talked for 2/3 of the session, and, NLP coaching. And so in that then time, lost my concentration of what I was going to say. But in that moment, your body's relaxing and
Yes.
healing at the same time. So time's distorted. And sometimes I'll say to my clients, without looking at the clock, how long did that seem for you? And someone, for instance, who's quitting smoking, they can be 50 minutes under hypnosis and they'll say, oh, Everyone's different, of course, but they may say, oh, 10 or 15 minutes. Some might say an hour, but generally time's distorted and it's compared to hours of sleep. So compared to stage hypnosis then, so you're there for fun. In the audience, the hypnotherapist doesn't say, you come up to the stage. He says, hands up who'd like to come up. And, there's those extroverts, hands up, and they bust in to get out there. And they're wanting to perform. They're following instructions and they're doing what they're wanting to do. They're still in control. And
Yes, because they put their hand up. So it's almost like
that's
they've
right.
accepted the invitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same with when clients call me for hypnosis, they've really put their hand up, like you just said, because they want to be here.
Yes.
They want to make change, because I say again, I can't make you do anything you don't want to do, even under hypnosis.
It's really interesting because you are in that really deep, relaxed state, but there's still an awareness there.
Yes.
And I loved it when you said, if it doesn't resonate with your core values or your ethics or whatever, you're either not going to hear it or you're going to reject it anyway. So it's interesting though, because you do feel like you're in a bit of a trance-like state, but you're not, but you're still, you're still aware, and you can still, it's interesting, but I know that it's super powerful because you are in that suggestive kind of state.
Yes.
Yeah, so great. So
and it makes it sound a bit, I'm like making light of it, because it is quite, as you know, people after an hour of being in hypnosis or quit smoking, haven't smoked, they tell me for 10 years since they saw me in that one session. Mind you, the session may be 3 hours, but as I said, part of it is hypnosis. So we don't have to have our eyes closed to be hypnotized. So, and the other thing is, we're in a trance state generally in our day several times anyway, when we're driving, watching a movie, reading a book, peeling the carrots, and our mind's gone off about what's happening tomorrow. We're in a trance state. So yes.
Yes, so good. So transformational shifts. I mean, over my lifetime, I've had periods in my life where the only thing that has helped me has been hypnotherapy. So what are the most common mindset or behavioral patterns you can help clients kind of overcome?
Well, like I mentioned, quit smoking is one.
Yes.
Weight loss, and anxiety, depression. These are the most common that I would see people for.
Yes.
Stress, alcohol.
Yes.
Gambling. What else was I going to say? Relationship issues.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've even, it could be the general thing like nail biting or hair pulling. It's under the
So all
umbrella of
those
so many
debilitating,
things.
all those debilitating habits, patterns, that you can actually, I guess, turn around. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And quite often, like, my clients might come in and say, oh, I'm addicted to chocolate, or I'm addicted to lollies, or, this is not everyone. Everyone's different and everyone has different story. And, but, some clients come back the second session and say, can't believe I haven't had a chocolate or lolly since. Like, and it's like, quite often it's a habit rather than addiction. But I don't make them feel that bad about it. That's fine. Let's no judging. Let's work on this.
Interesting. So do you think, we talked about the subconscious, the unconscious mind, and, we often have, patterns and limiting beliefs or, addictive patterns or whatever kind of buried in our unconscious. Is there often like a deeper root cause that needs to be discovered as well, do you think?
I think so. back in the day when I first started with different therapies, it was very different to what I do today. If someone came in for weight loss, for instance, I'd love sort of like putting the weight loss aside, and it's like ripping the Band-Aid off. Let's see what's going on underneath. And
Yeah.
like you say, that's what you're saying. But I do have to be mindful that people come into me for weight loss. So
Yes.
I'm focusing on that. And
Yes.
it's amazing with the tools that I give them through the program, which is, say, generally over 4 sessions. Then with the tools that we're working through, if there's any other issue, like I could ask people to write down 5 things bothering them right now, for instance, exactly like what you're saying, Suzy. And maybe if they've come in for weight loss, and it's amazing how weight loss isn't even on the list of 5 things bothering them.
Interesting.
And back in the day, we'd work then on those things, but and that's all lovely, but the issue is weight loss. So I will work with them with that issue, and those things will come up. And it's like they say, oh, it feels like I'm, you're a coach or a therapist, and along the way, as I said, only a third is, say, under hypnosis. So other things come up, and clients, I really honour how they can share as little or as much as they want to. And I'm always very grateful how comfortable my clients generally are to share what they do. So it can be just sort of to the side that we've dealt with that, or if they want to see me more with that, we can, like recently I worked with someone for weight loss, and it turned out we then bypassed to being more alcohol. So, we've moved on that. And then we're now going through, that's a whole different thing. But we can weave our way to what we need to.
Oh, I love that so much. I love that you respect their wish. I've come for weight loss, but throughout the
Thank you.
process, there might be that, epiphany. They may even have their own epiphany through, or, just I think it's almost like it opens like deeper doorways as to, what's really going on here. Yeah.
Lovely. Yes,
Love
I'm
that
feeling
so
that
much.
tingling
Yeah.
energy. Yes, Suzy,
Yeah.
that's right.
So
Yes.
beautiful. Now, a bold career move. So, what inspired you to become a clinical hypnotherapist at 50? And how has the journey shaped your work, do you think?
So I've been thinking about this, Suzy, and so if I can go back even a little bit further. So as you said,
Yes.
I'm living in a small country town called Ungarie, 300 people. I've been living here for 45 years with my husband, farmers, 3 children, and they were all, so going back 6 years probably before that, I knew they were all going to leave home. Where we live, you either have to be further educated or to get work. So I
Yeah.
knew that they were coming a time they were all going to be leaving home. And I was teacher's aide at our local school, thought I was going to be there till retirement. And I don't know, I had a little bit of a tap on the shoulder feeling like I always knew there was something more. And I did back then a Tony Robbins program. And back in the day, I received a pack of 30 CDs, and I listened to one a day religiously and it's because I really thought I wanted to be a counselor, something like that. I love connecting with people, but I had a limited belief that I live here. How could that be?
Right.
Who wants a
Interesting.
counsellor in
Yeah.
300 people? So my little box that I'd put myself in. So I did the program, and it was amazing how when I finished, it was like the doors open. Like within 2 weeks, I saw noticed an ad in the paper for asking for volunteers for suicide prevention counselling over in Griffith. And I thought, oh, that's something I can do, because in the program I wanted to not a real lot. I wanted, because we're in our second year of drought then, that went on for
Okay.
10 years.
I mean, not okay, awful, but yeah.
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 And it went on for 10 years, but we're in our second year then. So I wanted to improve our health, focus on our health through the stressful times, connect with people, and you know finances were obviously, wanted to make money in some way, even though I was working. So within this short time, like I said, I answered the ad. I went to 2 trainings, 2 weekends. I came home and I thought, oh my goodness, what have I got myself into? Like, I rang the trainer and I said, look, sorry, I just cannot do this. And he said, your roster's in the mail. You've got a month to get your head around it. So in that month, I rewrote the manual. And so anyway, I did that, and I did that for 6 years, 3 nights a month, from 6 p.m. till 8 a.m. And the thing was, Suzy, that those who generally rang the line weren't suicidal. They just wanted someone to talk to,
Yeah, yeah,
to give you an hour of their time.
yeah.
And then around the same time as back then, after the program, I found a nutritional product. And again, for our health and family members who needed health. And I started going around expos and markets, promoting the little knowledge I had on health and well-being. And people started coming, to me. And so here I am on one scale then, suicide, let's say, quite often people with disease looking for something. And I thought, wouldn't it be great if I was on this end, and prevention's easier than cure. And I was only thinking of this, Suzy, just before. Another thing popped into my mind is some friends and I, around this time, after the 6 years time now, we're sort of heading towards me being near 50, we went to a retreat, and I went to a psychic, and I just thought of this, and I thought, here I am with
Interesting.
Suzy. I thought, I
Yeah.
think I have to share this. And she said to me, you've got healing hands. And she said, you need to be doing something with your hands, massage or Reiki. And I hadn't even heard of Reiki. This is, 17 years or so ago. And anyway, I came home and Googled Reiki, and so I didn't know about what the right thing to do is. So I attuned myself straight into the masters. I had all these, glasses of water on the underneath the symbols, and I soon realised that the right way was to go to classes. And I started then doing courses, Suzy, like NLP, and I went to an NLP course, and I came away with a hypnotherapy course, a
Yes.
certificate, which I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that at all. Like, I didn't think one day I want to be a hypnotherapist. Like, that just wasn't in my radar at all. But it just came about, and then they assured me I was right to go off and start working with clients, weight loss, smoking, and everything. So being honest here, I did. And in a short time, a couple rang me and said that they were smoking. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I have no idea what to do with this. So I thought, if I'm going to do this, I need to have more confidence and a
Yes.
lot of more knowledge. So I then went on and did the diploma of clinical hypnotherapy. So that was,
Congratulations. Thank goodness for that. Yeah.
thank you. And that was huge for me, to be going to Sydney for 2 lots of like 2 weeks to do training, um, and then in between was distance and case studies. And
It's
anyway,
pretty full on, isn't it?
yeah,
Like
it
it's not
is.
it's not a walk
Yeah.
in the park. It's actually
No.
very intensive and it's a very credible course. And I know it would have been a huge commitment for you, having to go to Sydney and everything like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's right, Susie. And within a short time, things started to open up even more. I did a quit cigarettes in 60 minutes specialized program, and that was my main thing. People coming to me from hours away, like to quit smoking. We're back 15, 17 years ago now, and I had 2 therapy rooms in West Wyalong. And one day I just was in my hairdresser's. I said, I think I'm ready for I had a thought, I'm ready for my own room. And she said, we've got a room next door. You own 2 rooms you can have. And I had one for oracle card reading and Reiki and one for hypnotherapy, would you believe?
Oh, how brilliant. I love that. Yeah. So I love
Yeah.
that you kind of knew, like, the timing's right. You got that nudge. I need my own room. And then, of course, the universe opened up and said, oh, there's a room next door. I mean, that's, you know, that's synchronicity right there, yeah?
Oh, it's just amazing, Susie, how it all unfolded, like just amazing.
Yes, yeah. And it's so inspiring too, because, um, yeah, to go on and do a full diploma at 50, that's amazing. I love that so much. Yeah, so you've also written this gorgeous book, Blooming with Purpose. And of course, I have your book. I don't have it here at the coast. I have it in Canberra, so I can't hold up the cover. But your book, Bloom Where You Are Planted, holds such a powerful message. So what does that phrase mean to you personally? And how did this book come to you?
So yes, Susie. So the phrase, I'll answer that first. So I have it right here.
There it is. Good.
There
I'm
it is.
so glad.
The pink gerbera
Beautiful.
on the front cover was from my garden. So I remember this as being a little honest. One day, some friends and I were having a day away out together. And for us to go to the movies and a big shopping day is like a 2 hour drive for me. And,
Yeah.
we've got West Wyalong, there's a movie theatre there now, but back in the day, and I was having a little bit of a negative moment with one of the ladies there, and I was saying about Ungarie and, how there's probably limited things here. And she said to me, oh, my grandmother said to me one day something that's all I've always remembered, and that was to bloom where you were
Oh,
planted.
I love that.
And I did too. And I thought, wow, that was a real aha moment because I was working in my business, promoting a healthy mindset, positivity, and here I am being negative. But having said that, I know we're honest and true, and we can't be happy 24/7.
Well, we all have those moments. We all
Yeah.
have moments of self-doubt. We all have moments of feeling a little bit ripped off, or we all have moments of, sad and mad's not bad. They're simply feelings. And you're quite right, there's no point bypassing that. But I loved that you had that like aha moment in around, yeah, well, bloom where I'm planted. And, being in a
Yeah.
small town,
Yes,
like, well, why not? Yeah, I love
exactly.
that. Huge,
And
powerful.
and then Susie, so I have a supervisor for being a hypnotherapist to be in association and for clients to be able to claim private health funds and things like that. We need to be supervised. And she said to me way back several years ago, Sheila, you should write your own book. And I thought, oh, what would I write about? Like, just thought, oh no, that's too hard. And anyway, so I call myself the accidental author because, again, I didn't
Yeah.
plan to be. So, on like way back in the day, as I do today, not so much probably, I love taking photos. I love nature, being out, uh, being in nature, taking photos allows me to be in the moment. So
Yes.
I'd be walking along and taking photos of flowers or the cows or the horse and so on my Facebook page to help inspire people, I noticed people were putting posts like a picture and motivational words together. Say, and I thought I could do that. So I would Google a picture and I would do that. And then I started doing that with my own photos. And one day I just thought, you know what, I think I could actually put all of these into a book. And I remember ringing the publisher and it said, are you thinking about writing a book? Are you halfway there? Are you there? And I thought, actually, I think I'm there. Like,
Yeah.
I've got all the pictures, I've got all the
Like the
words.
room. I'm ready.
Yes, yes. And anyway, so she said, well, we can have 50 coloured photos. And when I took away all my sister actually said, Sheila, I think you should just put your own in. And for copyright reasons, that was a bit of a, given anyway.
Yeah, it's wonderful because you don't have to worry too much about, yeah, all the licensing and yeah.
Yeah. And when I counted all the posts that I'd shared, I actually had 50. It was just like, it sounds like I'm making that up, but 50 photos, 50 posts,
Oh,
which
so meant to
were
be.
my own. So,
Yeah.
and the publicist said, I just thought I'll send it all in like I had all these posters. She said, oh no, we need the original photos. We need you to rewrite everything and have it edited. It was like a self-publisher. And I was like, oh, it's all a bit hard. And I remember her saying to me, Sheila, sometimes we need to do just a little bit of hard work.
Yeah, do that hard thing, like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I think that's how you grow, isn't it? When you reach and yeah, and just, one step at a time and it all sort of comes together. But yeah,
Yes.
it can be a little bit overwhelming, the thought of it.
Yes. Oh,
But
yes.
I love that, that's why it's good to kind of ask for help and get kind of support too, isn't it? Like,
Mm,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. So,
Mm.
and so then I remember I hadn't even told my husband about it, Susie. So I'm just about up to the publishing stage. And I thought, because I needed to, pass over some money for the publishing. And I just thought, well, I better tell him. And I'd sort of printed out a bit of a proof and I said, oh, this is what I'm doing. But like my husband is not spiritual at all. And this has got a spiritual slant to it with some of the posts. And he said, well, I'll just look at the pictures. And but anyway, I just wanted it to come back and looking like a decent book. And when it came back and my husband was standing next to me and it was just one book they sent me as a proof. And I just thought, wow, yes, I'm happy with it.
It's a
It was,
beautiful, blossoming, blooming,
uh,
wonderful book. And yeah, it definitely did come together. And I love that it's kind of like, you can open it to a page and there's something inspiring there. I love that you created it. We've both got that same beautiful connection to nature, Mother Earth. I know that we both kind of lean in towards, the fairies and the nature spirits and
yes,
all that beautiful stuff as well. So, yeah, so congratulations. The book
thank
is
you.
beautiful, and I think it's a really powerful message. You know, um, bloom where you are planted, as opposed to, like I'll be happy when I move, I'll be
Yes,
happy one day, wishing your life away, where it's pretty much like, well, why not now?
yeah, no
Yeah,
matter what.
no matter what. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
And Susie,
great.
I just had this thought, this came to me yesterday too. So it's amazing because I bought, if you back then it was like, oh, if you buy so many books, you'll get them at this price. And, I was a bit naive to it. And I think I bought about 14 books of 40 books, 14 boxes. And it's like I had all these boxes arrive and because they were at a good discounted price, bulk buying. And so I'll just show you this page if I could, Susie. So this was another gerber in my garden, and the message is, you are one of a kind, embrace your uniqueness.
So
Okay.
beautiful. Yeah.
So now I yesterday I thought, now I'll put a book down here so I have it for today. And I'm about to show you what it is. And then I had a second book and it's like, wow, this is amazing because I know you've got your pink hair at the moment.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So, Susie, so out of all the boxes, one whole box, this is the same picture. This is how it should look. This is how it
Right.
was yellow, but a whole box came as a light, beautiful pale pink.
Oh my goodness, you can't make this
I
up.
know. And
It's like the
yesterday when
soft pink, and my hair is actually that soft pink at the moment.
yeah,
I've
you
gone
probably
from I've
don't
gone from
see.
like hot pink highlights to more of a rosy pink. Oh wow,
I
that's
know.
amazing.
And it's
Yeah.
amazing how two of the books I had here out of the whole box that I've sort of given away quite often to clients and things were both here. And I had to go and look for the yellow. And I thought, well, that's a little bit of a thing today to share, I'm sure.
That's a really good thing to share. So, mindset in action, what's one simple practice listeners can start today to shift their mindset or their energy?
There could be many, and anyone can say this, but like to come back into our body and, to just breathe. Because quite often when we have anxiety, like anxiety is, I did a whole program just on what's the difference between stress, anxiety, and worry, and helping you find your inner peace. And so stress is outside of ourselves. Worry is in our own head. And mix the two together is anxiety in the body.
Oh, wow.
And I'm
Never
feeling
heard
that.
it explained like that. Can you say that again?
So stress is outside of us, like we've got
Yes.
stresses going on, say, and then we're worrying about that, overthinking. So when you combine the stress and the worrying, then that leads to anxiety in the body, which is, shaking or can't make decisions, nervousness. So that leads to anxiety, combined the two. So quite often when we have anxiety, our mind is quite often going to the future, making up things that aren't even real.
Yeah.
And our body doesn't know what's real or imagined. That's the
Yes.
mind and body connection.
Yeah.
So coming back to the breath, it sounds very simple, but the technique I share is to breathe in slowly through your mouth, through your nose to the count of 5, right into the belly. And then as you do that, massages all the internal organs, hold for 2, and then breathe out slowly for 5. And I suggest to do that 5 times because it's hard to think, count, and breathe at the same time. So
Okay.
we know how long, we know we can probably breathe and it's probably about 5, but actually counting takes away the thinking. And
Yes.
because quite often when we're anxious, that means we've held our breath. You might say to someone, breathe, and that's the last thing they want to hear, but they're actually holding their breath and their brain isn't getting any oxygen.
Yes.
And it's coming back into the body, into
Yeah.
this now, might be feeling your feet on the ground, and then you're, back into your own body, into this moment. And just even if I can take it a little further, is you could close your eyes because you always have your breath with you, no matter where you are. And then you can close your eyes and just imagine yourself in your favorite place. Like you could be going to the beach, you might love the rainforest, and just imagine yourself there. You might be visual, you may not, it doesn't matter. You can think it or imagine it. And, you can imagine, this is self-hypnosis, we call it, by imagining yourself being in your favorite place. And again, your mind doesn't know what's real or imagined. So your body gets the effects of being there, the mind and body connection. And then that's healing your body, calming your body down. So that's,
So
yeah.
beautiful. I think,
Mhm.
it may sound simplistic, but as you said, your breath is everywhere with you. So it's not
Yes.
like you have to have tools or go
Mm.
off and do a complicated practice or
Mm.
I think, the power of the breath, the counting, the getting present, the visualization. As you were explaining that, I was actually doing it, and I do feel
Beautiful.
just so at peace. So yeah, I think it's important to make some of these practices self-empowering. So when you said it was
Yes.
self-hypnosis,
Yes.
of course, sometimes we need to reach out and get help, and I think that's important to do that. But it's also nice to have little simple things that you can do in your everyday that are actually going
Absolutely.
to bring you back into your body, back to the sacred breath. You're not worrying about the past. You're not worrying about the future. You're actually kind of coming, you're getting still, and you're really sinking into that present moment. And in the present moment, yeah, often, there is no stress. So yeah, I love that. So good. Thank you for
And
sharing that.
you're welcome, Susie. And just one more thing on that is when you're maybe in that little space, then is just coming back to what you're grateful for. Like most of us are
Yes.
waking up with a warm bed, roof over our head, food in the cupboard. Life's not too bad after all. Like even when we went through our 10-year drought, we never went hungry. Usually
Yes.
we're all okay. We can find, you know, and so coming back to what you're grateful for. It might be the warm
Gratitude is
water,
so
the soap,
powerful.
you
Yeah.
know, to the sheets, really coming back to your basic survival needs. And again, that's putting you in a lovely space. And, it's the little things, watching the flower bloom and another flower out in the garden or a cloud in the sky. Just nature can give us so much, taking
Life
away
is
the
so
stresses.
magical. It's so
Mm,
magical when you start to notice those, those moments of joy.
mm,
Um, and, the best things in life come for free, right?
yes,
And,
absolutely.
being grateful, as you said, for, like 10-year drought, but you still had food to eat,
Yeah,
right? You still had, a beautiful comfy bed, nice sheets, just little simple things like that. I think it's so important to
exactly.
appreciate life. And you and I both see the magic in nature. And I think nature, you're not going back into nature, we are nature. And, it brings us, back to, that simple abundance of being really grateful for the simple things in life. So I'm so glad that you mentioned that. That's so good. Yeah.
Thanks, Susie.
So beautiful, my love.
Thank you.
Now, how can our listeners find you? Because I highly recommend you as a clinical hypnotherapist, but also just as, the most gracious, graceful, I see you as that beautiful white, wise owl, as you know.
Oh,
So how can our listeners find you, my love?
that's beautiful, Susie. Look, I've actually just printed out a picture and
Yeah.
put it beside me. Look, but I
Oh,
know I
wow.
have one behind
You've
me,
got one
but
behind
I
you.
just printed this out just early and cut that and put it
That's
beside me to,
gorgeous. I
I
love
think, you
that
know,
with the
bring me into
moon.
that
And
space to be relaxed next to you.
there's 2 hours in that picture too, isn't there?
I know, but it's actually three
3.
flying.
The flying one as well. That's
And the
stunning
moon,
art. Love
your
that.
beautiful moon.
Beautiful
Uh,
moon, the
Yeah,
flying owl, the 2 beautiful wise owls perched up on a gorgeous branch. And to me, too, the black and the white is the balance,
yes,
the night and day,
beautiful.
that beautiful sacred balance. And yeah, whenever I see you, talk to you,
Mm.
even on your social media, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, there's that beautiful, graceful, wise owl,
Ah,
that, is
ah,
just so lovely and kind. And
that's
yeah,
beautiful. Thank you, Susie. So my website is www Your Pathway to Health. So my business name is Your Pathway to Health. And I have a Facebook page. That's my main page, my main social media. Instagram as well, I tend to copy across, but yeah, website, and that has all the details. Thanks, Susie.
beautiful. So all of the details will be in the show notes as well.
Oh,
Sheila
appreciate
is
that.
very accessible and approachable, and you can easily find her. So, make sure you look her up. Now, I also
Oh, thank you,
intuitively
Susie.
selected a card
Uh,
today from the Oracle of Delphi, not from the Fairy Temple. I know you and I love our fairies, but from the Oracle of
I
Delphi.
have all your packs of cards, Susie, all of them. I just love them so much.
Oh, thank you, my love. So this is really beautiful. It's the Spirit card
Beautiful,
with all the gorgeous pastel
beautiful.
colors, and you've got the white swan. And I love the totem of the white swan because for me it represents, finding clear waters even in a muddy pond, a
Mm,
bit like your bloom where you planted. It's the swan has this ability to find clear waters, even if the lake is muddy, right?
beautiful.
Um, and the words are renew, detox, purify, and cleanse, which is
Wow.
really lovely. And I've got this little thing here. Come bathe in these sacred waters, submerge in this sanctified spring of liquid light to release any debris from the past, arise feeling refreshed. And that is exactly how I felt after I had a session with you.
Oh, that's beautiful, Susie. Can
Beautiful.
I just show you one last thing, Susie?
You can.
Yesterday, I cleaned out I attempted to clean a room that much needed it. And the first thing I did is I opened a box and I couldn't believe I had all of my Oracle card, like a box of 13 packs of Oracle cards in there from from months ago. And every time I would think, where are those cards? And I must have them in another spot. So yesterday I took a card from the Your Beautiful Water Temple cards. I chose from all the cards,
Oh, I
and
love that deck.
I
Yeah.
had to share it with you, Susie, because you won't believe it's the goddess Aphrodite blossom. I bloom with love.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Beautiful goddess Aphrodite, and that message, I think there's 4 Aphrodite cards in that deck, and you chose the card that's about blooming and blossoming, and yeah, so perfect, so
and
beautiful.
especially Susie, as I was preparing for yesterday, I was writing some notes and getting in that space. I had in the background on my headset on YouTube this relaxing music, and it was all about the blossom, and the bloom is the book. I had just found the pink
Yes,
bloom, like the book Bloom, and I just thought, wow, we're all connected, aren't we?
I love that so
There's no
much.
mistakes, is there? So I
Do you want to
just
hold
thought I
that
had to,
card up again?
yes, it's just beautiful, Susie.
Beautiful. So goddess Aphrodite, in her beautiful sacred spring with the beautiful pink roses and her floral crown, and you're right, it's very, very pink, which is really beautiful,
Yes.
from the Water Temple Oracle, and the artworks by Lola Savalainen. And so that's so nice. Thank you for sharing that. Thank
Thank
you.
you. You're
That's so
welcome,
good.
Susie. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay, my love, I really look forward to getting you back on the podcast again.
Oh,
Um, so grateful for you to come on, and
thank you so much, Susie.
thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And I know that this podcast is going to be really popular. So, yay!
Beautiful. I
Thank
love
you.
listening to your podcast, especially when I'm driving. Thank you so much, Susie. I'm honoured to be here.
You're very, very welcome, my love. Thank you so much.